Do you want to lose weight? Have you tried everything? You cannot imagine that you would eat mainly fats. So let's check out what is keto and what it can do for you today. Welcome, I'm Olga and my mission is to help people to feel welcomed in their bodies, lives, world and universe. And today let's check out what is keto, what it can do for you and what is not keto. So let's start with what keto isn't. So it's not some industrial or commercial product. It's not a low carb, even though it's kind of variation of low carb diet. And it's not paleo. And I'm a fan of paleo with some exceptions or comments to that. So let's check out if that would be for you the best way how to eat. Because keto has lots of benefits. So let's start with the definition. So the definition is that we have in the diet 80% of fat, 15%, and that's roughly, right? And 15% of proteins and 5% of carbohydrates. So that sounds like a lot of fats, but it's the percentage, it's not the volume of the food. And I will get to that later also. So what about the effects? So it allows autophagy, the detoxification of the cells that we don't need anymore in our body. It helps mental clarity. A lot of people report improved focus when they are on keto. It lowers inflammation in the body, and I'm talking about inflammation so much. It's so important to keep your chronic inflammation low in your body. So that way it is prevention also of many autoimmune diseases and also the diseases that are caused by inappropriate diet like diabetes or metabolic syndrome. So lots of positive effects. So could you imagine that you would be eating fats mainly? Sometimes we have this block, right? Because we received when we were growing up or even later from media, from different sources, this information that fats are bad. And we tend to kind of have that connection that fats make us fat. But I want to actually argue against that today. So what that means practically. So let's start with the carbohydrates. So as far as fruit, keto is kind of strict. And again, it is about finding your own journey, right? So from fruits, there would be just berries left, maybe like blueberries. As far as vegetables, we are mainly going for these leafy greens, the vegetables that are more sweet, like pumpkins or maybe even sweet potatoes or carrots. They are not there so much. So that would be carbohydrates. Proteins, obviously, if you prefer animal sources, then it would be that. Otherwise, dairy, if it's not inflammatory for you, or eggs. And fats. So let's start with the great ones, with the healthy ones first. So that would be avocado, that would be olive oil, olives, seeds, nuts. I think I covered it more or less. Coconut oil, of course, coconut oil is the king. And again, if you prefer animal sources, then you can use any fatty meats that you would like. So how does it look like practically? It means that we have 80% of the consumption of calories. So that means, again, not the volume. So if you imagine a plate, you would have half of your plate vegetables, because even though carbohydrates are just 5% of caloric intake, in the volume it creates a kind of bigger volume. So we would have, if we are talking about salad, half of the plate filled with preferably leafy greens, and then we would have 1/4 with some protein of the choice and 1/4 of fats like avocado, for example. And again, you can have anything on your salad as far as olive oil, nuts, seeds, and these kinds of sources. The key thing is though that through the leafy greens and some healthy choices of fats and proteins, we need to get in all the nutrients that we need. And if you haven't seen my video about green smoothies, then check that out, because that's also a great way how to stay on keto and get all the nutrients that you need in. So it's quite an extensive topic. This is just the first video on the topic of keto here. But the main thing and the grand finale that I want to get to is, if you train your body to use fat as a source of energy as opposed to glucose, which is kind of usual, at least where I live, we would have most carbohydrates or some combination of thirds of carbohydrates, third of fats, third of protein on our plate. So if you train your body to use fat as a primal source of energy, and then you kind of lower the intake of fat from your diet, from your consumption, then guess what? Your body will choose your body fat as the second preferred choice of energy. So keto is great if you want to lose weight, and also for many more effects that I mentioned. So let's check that out. Let's think about what would be your journey, or maybe your steps to, or your variation of keto. And thank you for watching, and welcome on the journey.